Good morning and happy Tuesday. So, there's an ancillary to what I talked about yesterday, also answering the questions on Instagram that, you don't see overnight successes. Do they happen? Yeah, they do. They occasionally happen. Sure, Tom Cruise was an overnight success, but then he had success, but he didn't have success the way that he wanted. And so he still had to work like crazy, and now he's become the hardest working actor in show business, maybe the hardest working actor ever. So, the ancillary to the idea that there aren't overnight successes is that while you're on your path to achieving your outcomes, you're going to get frustrated. There's going to be times where you don't feel like you're going to ever make it. You don't feel like you're making any progress. You feel like you're just not getting anywhere. That is going to happen. And there's an old Successories picture where there's a guy chipping away at the earth, and there's a pile of jewels, and he's this far from getting there, and he walks away and starts working somewhere else because he gives up. And that's really true as to how it works. That right when you're about ready to give up is usually when you figure out that breakthrough, and then you get to the next level. And the breakthrough most of the time comes out of frustration. You get frustrated enough that you try something different, or you try a little harder, or you look at it a different way, or you seek another piece of advice, or you focus on it a little bit more. So, remember, number one, that the path to success doesn't just go in a straight line. It does not work that way. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. Remember also that while you need to never give up, you do need to adjust. You need to look and see, okay, maybe I should try something a little different. Maybe I should try something a little different. When that plane is flying from Chicago to Hawaii to Honolulu, it adjusts all the time depending upon what's hitting it, the different winds and such. So you got to constantly take a look and say, is there something I can do a little bit differently here that's going to create that result? Is there something I can tweak? Is there some coaching I can get? Is there something I can try just a little bit differently in order to get my outcome? And if you're confused, then you're going to learn something. And if you're frustrated, you're going to have that breakthrough. So when you hit those points where all of a sudden you're frustrated, and maybe you're there right now where you're massively frustrated, you're like, God blankety blank, I've been doing everything in the world in order to try to create this outcome, and I haven't got there. And I'm just, I'm mad and I'm frustrated and I'm not sure this is going to work out. That's the greatest time, because that's right before it's going to happen. That's how you feel most of the time, at least in my experience. That's how I have felt most of the time, right before I actually start achieving the outcomes that I've tried to achieve. And when I've gone through those really difficult times, I've told the story about 11 plus years ago when my financial life completely fell apart and I had to figure out a way to get myself out of it. And what happened with that was, number one, it was incredibly frustrating because for a long period of time, I felt like I was in quicksand. Everything I did just made it worse. But I made it a must. I had to get out of this. And as part of creating what I needed to create in the financial world, it made me expand myself in much greater areas. And that's what the frustration does. Growth isn't easy, growth is painful. When you forge yourself into something better, you have to go through a process, just like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. They have to go through this painful chrysalis process. They have to go and they have to break out of that cocoon in order to become the next version of themselves. We are the same way. When we grow into the next version of ourselves, we have to molt the old person. Now, we don't get to see it physically like a lobster does or like a spider does, but emotionally and mentally, it's the same process where we have to break out of whatever that is that's holding us back and break through. And if you don't ever get frustrated, then you're not pushing yourself. The dabbler is the person that gets to the point where all of a sudden it's not going easy and they get frustrated and then they move on to something different. Rarely is that a person that achieves most of their life's outcomes as they're going through, because they never break through to the next level. And the awesome thing is when you break through that next level, whatever the outcome is that you were looking for, it's great to achieve that outcome. But at the end of the day, you'll look back and go, the outcome really wasn't what I got out of that. What I got out of that was I became more of who I'm supposed to be. And now I'm a person who can handle all of these different things. The uh, the event that I was just at, there was somebody who was, talking about the lottery because the lottery was up to like $2 billion, and they were asking me, did you buy tickets to the lottery? I'm like, no, I didn't buy ticket. Well, why not? It's going to be like $1 billion or $2 billion. And it's, I never understood this when I was younger until I got a little bit. I said, I don't want to win the money. I want to make the money, because if I win the money, then I'm going to be in fear that it's going to be taken away. But if I make it, if I figure out how to do that, then I won't live in fear, because if it goes away, I can just go do it again. Whatever the result is that you want to create, once you create that result, then it gets easy. Think about in your past something that you thought was impossible for you to do, and then you achieved it. Once you achieved it, you could do it again and again and again. It became easy. Well, that's really the secret to life, isn't it? To break through these frustrations and to grow. We're either growing or we're dying. So we need to grow into the next version of ourselves. And once we conquer that, you can look back and go, now I can do that again. And that's the awesome part of it, because you can look back and go, wow, look at how far I've come. So welcome frustration. It's part of the process, and it's a great part of the process, and it's an essential part of the process. And when you're frustrated, you're going to have a breakthrough. So know that that's coming. And a lot of times it takes a lot longer than you want it to, but you're going to get there. Just keep going. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.